LLC.
Mhm.
No, it's
and
Twin
also
City.
with Premier
It's
Group.
Twin City. It's Twin City Property Group at Premier with Real Broker.
So, just say, the real estate agent.
Here's a couple real estate agents.
We have some
Local.
realtors.
We are the
here.
hashtag of your favorite tattooed realtors.
Yeah.
Because all of our realtors are tattooed, but one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're into that. Otherwise, we
You
don't
can have the
any.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, you can have the
Not.
one.
Who has none of us have tattoos.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not into that and you have $1 million property, I don't have a one.
Have you ever had?
I said my
someone
devotionals in the car.
that is like.
Mm-mm. My mom's like, I'll go out in the summer, with a short shirt. She's like, well, what if they don't like your tattoos? And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I mean, if they don't like it, they don't have to work for me. That has nothing to do with my work ethic.
See, I'm opposite.
What do you say?
No, I
she'll
mean,
cave to whatever.
Oh.
whatever you want me to do.
We're talking about a girl
Well, I
who
mean-
bought a $350 pair of boots
Oh, yeah.
in Montana,
In
and she
Montana.
said we have
She
a
wore 'em
listing
once.
we need to go to that
Yeah.
has a
A
horse farm.
Yeah, it was a horse farm. I was like, we have to be near farriers.
Shopping.
And she learned to do the boot scooting, too.
Oh
I
my
did,
god, I
I-
have it on
Scoot
video.
buggy?
It's so
the
good.
boot scoot.
Oh,
Can you do that at the end of the episode, please?
Please.
Sure. My kick's a little aggressive, so we might want to watch the charcuterie board.
That'd be great if you just kick everything down.
But yes, that is who we are. We are Twin City
We
Property
can cover
Group.
them. We can bring them out. That's tattoos. Anything else?
Yeah, literally anything. I'll be whoever you want me to be.
Okay.
Don't introduce yourself with your side hustle of fan-only feet pics.
Oh damn. But that's really gonna take off,
I mean,
and the world won't be able to stop me then.
I've never seen your feet.
If you need a medieval room as a prop, I know where you can find one.
we know
There
a
is
guy.
one.
We know a guy.
I've never even seen your feet.
He don't like toes out.
Yeah, I'm
Take-
not a toes out kind of
He's
guy.
not a toes
No?
out.
I've never even seen your
Even
feet.
Well,
the
I want to
summertime?
see them.
No, don't you remember that date he went on and he was like, absolutely not. He had his toes out.
His toes were out. He had sandals
What?
on, but also that was in like February too.
He had on a fur coat, a long
See?
fur coat, winter fur
Oh,
coat,
It was
and he had his toes
disgusting.
out.
No,
It was disgusting.
No,
Absolutely
that's
not.
awful.
That's all I
Yeah.
heard.
Don't do that.
As soon
No.
as he saw that, he was like, mm-mm.
I said I gotta go.
Yeah.
I knew that guy was kind of weird though, because he said
He was weird.
Well, he said he rescued a French bulldog from a breeder. I said that's not.
He didn't want it. He paid $3,000 for a dog.
Yeah, I was like,
I rescued him, and they sent me this big deal at the end.
I saved him from those breeders. He was treated
I
terrible
paid
there.
a $3,000 adoption
No,
fee.
I was like, no, sir.
$3,000
No.
rehoming fee.
Right.
Rehoming.
Yeah.
Rehoming.
yeah,
Rehoming.
rehoming. Yeah, no, that's you've got it wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Oh. Sorry.
It's going very well.
Wrong
Literally.
button.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NC Real Estate Unfiltered podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jeff, with Airborne. And here we have Allie Kane.
Allie K. Mortgage Team.
Yeah. And
Oh, me.
who are you?
Noah Cook with Triad Realty Leverage Services. Got that right on the first try.
Bam.
Boom.
And we are here with Jess Heineck, Joey Miller from Twin City Property Group, powered by.
Premier with Real Broker.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There you go.
It's a whole
Give me the
mouthful.
whole- yeah.
It's Twin City Property Group
Yeah.
at Premier Groper.
Premier what?
We're groping now. You fit right in there.
Not a groper. I mean, I am, but not professionally. Premier Group at Real Broker LLC.
Perfect.
You sure?
Let me do it again. We're Twin City Property Group at Real Broker LLC. No, we're Twin City Property. No,
Don't look at her. There's that damn mouse again.
it's cricket. Can we just say
Twin City
Real
Property
Broker?
Group. Yeah.
Do we have to put
With
Premier in
real?
there?
Yeah.
Mm.
Matt.
Matt would get it right.
Yeah, we're Twin City Property Group. Also at Premier Group.
We are Twin City Property Group with Premier at Real Broker.
Yeah, that's what we are. LLC.
There you go.
I don't think we should say broker. I think it's just real.
Why do you have to say?
Because we have to, when we type it, we have to type Real Broker LLC.
Yeah, like on our contracts. That's
Right.
what it says.
So-
If you don't.
just on the contract. So that's what I'm saying. It's just Twin City Property Group with Premier at Real.
We're working on it.
Heavy on the unfiltered with the NC Real Estate Unfiltered name.
Don't sue us.
The bottom line is we have our licenses.
Great job.
We are
We are
NC Realtors.
affiliated.
We're not
And-
sure who we are. Or where
Yeah, we are
but
affiliated, and well, we've had to make a lot of moves.
We're affiliated and licensed.
We're
And we can sell real
affiliated and
estate.
licensed. We can sell real estate. We can do whatever you need us to do at a moment's notice.
And that's what matters.
That's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
But we
With a
couldn't.
smile.
But we couldn't do it without help from Noah
Oh.
and lenders like Allie. That's why we're all here. We all work together. We're a team.
And photography with Jeff.
Yeah.
Don't
Wow.
leave Jeff.
yeah, no,
He makes the grossest of gross houses look,
Look
grease
beautiful.
free.
he does. He does a great job.
So, guys, we're going to get started with something simple. So, what is you guys' names, experience, market that you guys work in, fun facts, things like that? Joey, you go first.
So I'm Joey.
Mhm.
So I have the pleasure of having one of those names that can go either way. So I like giving out my business card and I like putting things out there because you never know who's calling you. I have people call expecting a man and I can win them over with my glowing personality. Or they know they're calling me and, I'm a chick, so they're good. 17 years experience in the business. I will go anywhere from here to Raleigh to Charlotte. 2-hour span from the Triad.
Fun
Uh,
fact.
Fun fact. I was named after a 50s porn star. How's that?
Oh, I love
Oh
this.
my
Female porn star.
Oh, yes.
Joey Heatherton.
Oh my!
I'm gonna
She
Google
was
her.
Yes,
she was
give
in
her a
Playboy
Goog.
at 52. So if I can do that, I've got 2 more years to get this body right.
Mhm.
Yeah, girl.
So, you know who to call for all your real estate needs.
Somebody out there is going to be like, hell
Yeah.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Let me get her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm calling her tomorrow.
I'm calling her tomorrow.
They won't even have real estate. They'll just call and talk.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can talk them into a house. We can do it.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jess, your turn.
Okay. What's the
All right,
question?
so simple name and experience. We'll go there first.
Okay, my name is Jessica Heineck. My experience is coming up on 3 years. That's why I've aligned myself with veteran over here.
At least she didn't say old
Learning
bat.
from the best.
um,
Market you work in.
I work. I prefer to work in a 5-mile radius from
From Buena Vista.
from Buena Vista. However, no, I will go basically wherever Joey tells me to go. I guess we'll go to Raleigh, Charlotte. Davidson County.
Fun fact
And-
about you. Sorry.
Well, no, it's fine. I think also it depends on like who it is. Like if it's like a friend or
Mhm.
someone that I know or I'm close with. But also, we can refer anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Someone you know is not just gonna like drop you after one showing after you drive 3 hours to show them something,
Exactly.
or 2 hours. You said
Exactly.
2 hours. Yeah.
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 So,
What's a fun fact? You probably have a lot.
Tone it down. Tone it down.
okay, well, a fun fact about me is that I don't even know if I can say it. I cannot even handle peach fuzz to touch me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I can
Really?
confirm this.
Me too.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit dizzy.
Yeah. She didn't even think about like actual peach fuzz on the skin of a peach.
It is, and
Oh,
what's
I thought you meant like.
no peach, no like
I was
not
like,
not like a man's, but like
Oh, God.
Peaches, literally.
literally peaches.
Just peach fuzz.
And what's really up about it is like I really love peaches, and so
Yeah.
I always have to have people peel them for me and leave them at my
If
home.
she were really wealthy, she would hire.
I would
just
hire a peach peeler.
peeler.
This is
Yeah.
my peach peeler.
Or a chef.
Yes, to do all of it. But that is something like I can't even have it around me. Like I could go on Maury Povich about it.
It is kind of weird.
She
though.
just she starts thinking about it and starts breaking us away.
Yeah. I'm sweating right now.
Would you rather be held by gunpoint or have a peach rubbed on your forehead?
Gunpoint.
Wait.
What caliber?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
really.
I am a seller and I walk up to you and I say, I have a $30 million house to sell, but you have to,
In Peachland.
yeah,
Lick
in
the
Peachland.
peach fuzz.
But all you have to do is lick the peach fuzz.
Oh,
Oh God.
that's rough.
30 million?
She
Yeah.
say, Joey's
I would
told
do
me
you,
about
and you have a buyer for it already.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, I would be hard. You'd be hard pressed to say anything that I wouldn't do for $30 million.
You had
So
her
we
at
would
30
do-
million.
Yeah.
We would do the
Yeah.
peach fuzz for that.
Oh yeah.
What price range would you say you would say no to the peach?
Oh God.
Would you do it for a 500,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
All right. What about
I
250?
might do it for 250.
She
I
said,
would-
No,
she
think
said,
about,
what's
think about who we have in the 250 range.
No,
You would
I
not
know.
do it.
I would just like
Now,
to
there's
add,
certain people.
when we were kids, we would play the game like, what would you do for this amount of money?
Yeah.
Would you do this for this? And her
She's
number
well
was
prepared.
always so much lower than everyone else's.
She's like, all money's green, baby.
Jess is like, what market are we in again? How many houses have we sold?
I know that is the thing. I mean, it is, but like it really, like even in the grocery store, like in the
Mhm.
summertime, like I have to.
Yikes.
Repulses
to-
you.
Well, I just have to
She
watch
takes
out.
the wide walk.
I have to watch out, and then you got them sneaky little like nectarines that you're just like, okay, well those are okay.
You hear- over the intercom, you hear,
There's a lady screaming in the produce area beside the peaches.
No, I normally do like a little quick like taparoo just to make sure it's a nectarine because I also love a nectarine.
That's a
So
problem.
They're fuzzless.
they're
Mhm.
fuzzless. So anyway, that's my fun fact. I know we kind of went off the rails.
We love it. We love
imagine
it.
getting to the grocery store and you're just rolling your cart and there's a lady just going like this to the peaches.
Well, I was over there the other day squeezing them zucchinis because I felt like they were too soft. And my husband comes up, he's like, "Quit squeezing those zucchinis."
You look like a psychopath.
Matt. That is what I said because I was like, Matt, stop. Because I was, but I don't think he liked that I was like holding them up in the air. And I was like, do you think this one's too soft?
Bless.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a nightmare in a produce section.
Joey,
Back to you, Joey.
back to you.
back to you.
What's the weirdest or funniest thing you've ever seen in a home or a home showing?
Well, Jess has the one that takes the cake, but mine is, you remember, I'll tell you if you don't.
Okay.
Mine is a stripper pole.
Mm.
So, stripper pole in the bedroom.
Have
In
you
the
only,
bedroom?
In the bedroom.
Have you only ever seen that once? I feel like that could be kind of common, right?
Mhm.
I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
Once was in a garage, and once was
Okay.
in the bedroom.
In the
Yeah.
garage? Not the garage.
Like,
Not
you know,
the boom boom room.
Not the man cave scenario. you
Oh,
know,
okay. I was going to say, I was picturing like the cars out there.
In the shop. you know.
Instead of a pillar between the two garage doors,
It's
it's
a
just,
stripper
Stripper pole.
I love it.
But
Now,
Jess,
was it hard? Was it like hard into the like
Like
nailed,
drilled
or
into
was
the-
it
I
a
wanted to test it out to make sure it was sturdy.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
You did.
Well, I mean, I just took a little spin.
Did you look at it first? Because sometimes they're.
Oh, I
greasy.
did. No, I looked to make sure where it was mounted and all.
Now,
the
what if
things,
that damn thing
and I
fell?
shook it. Well, I mean, you kind of hold on to it, hang a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a little spin.
Yeah,
Could
Yeah.
you imagine the call to the listing agent if it would have I don't know what happened.
yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
what
their
happened.
kid knocked into it. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah,
you know,
that would've been
it just
good.
was laying there when I walked in the door.
Yeah,
And they're like, on the security footage,
Right,
it shows.
right.
it showed that you were swinging
Right.
around.
The nanny cam said.
Yeah,
Okay,
you were-
so
Sorry,
Jess
Jess.
has the best.
I mean, I think is mine not the confession?
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, I
I-
love this one. Oh my God.
I was showing a house and we went downstairs, which, basements are what they are,
Weird, yeah.
especially like in older homes.
Mhm.
And I went down there and it was like a good old fashioned, like Catholic confessional with
No.
the stained glass. Yeah. And like you just like open the door and that was crazy to me because I thought, and it had like a old timey like phone next to it. So I don't know. I mean, obviously he
You're
used
just
to
gonna
like
call
take
God.
calls. I don't know. It was just weird. So
What if they call it like the priest that they confess
Mhm.
their
Father,
sins?
Father, I have sinned.
So they call him when they go down there, maybe?
I guess they say Father.
She got in.
I did.
I was
got
gonna
in.
say,
Confessed.
and what did
She
the
confessed.
Facebook? How did you post this on Facebook?
Well,
Jess? 'Cause
I-
this is the best part about this whole thing. Go ahead.
Is this post still around?
Yes.
I'm
I'll
sure
have to
that
pull
it
it.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because I got in it and I said a wise man once said, "These are my confessions," and it was Ursher.
Ursher, baby.
He did do it best.
He did.
Yes.
He did.
So that was the craziest thing I've seen so far.
So back to you, Joey. What is the most unusual feature or design choice you've seen in a home?
The feature would be a red room. I've seen that.
Oh, so you have seen a red room.
Mhm.
Was it like
What-
equiped with everything, or was it just a
Yeah.
room all painted red that you knew?
And,
about?
like, you
Oh,
knew
it was
what was going
swing and
down.
all.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
They were in it. Price range?
$650.
Damn.
I feel like it's
And they
always.
say money can't buy
I
happiness.
know.
I feel like it's always the higher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
They
the
get
more
bored.
pricier the listing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do
Well,
get bored.
it's like you have everything that you want, and you're like, let's do something else. Let's
Yeah.
explore.
You're just sitting around the dinner table.
Yeah.
Like, honey, I've been thinking. I kind of, we were watching Braveheart the other day.
Braveheart.
But no, the thing about it was when we went and we looked at the listing, the door was locked. And so
Oh.
when you asked, the listing agent said, the door is locked to the owner's suite, is what she called it.
It's a
But
suite,
it
all
wasn't
right.
the bedroom because we were in the bedroom.
Mhm.
She said, we'll grant you access once you put in an offer. Well, now I'm curious.
Yeah.
So,
Come on now, ain't nobody gonna do that.
well, they
Once
did,
you
but-
you
put
did.
in the offer.
Yeah.
Talk about sight unseen.
Right?
Yeah.
Anything could be back
Just
there.
a room.
Right.
Now I'm putting in an offer just like $1.
Just to see what's back there.
We'll let you use the
50.
swing once you put
Right.
in an offer.
They wanted to know, did the swing convey? I mean,
Hey,
If it was
These are
like
important
drilled in,
questions.
maybe, right?
mean,
Isn't that
yeah.
a thing?
Yeah.
If you
I'll
turn
take
the
it.
house upside down,
the
it
hooks
doesn't fall
stay,
out.
but the swing
That's
doesn't.
exactly
Yeah.
how I try to think about it. But that is true. Like, how does that work for that? Does it work like a TV mount?
yeah, the hooks stay.
The
but
hooks
swing does
stay.
not.
Oh.
But the swings and straps.
But now
and
if the strap
floggers
was,
go.
but if it was like a
Attached
like
to the wall.
yeah, well, if it was like sometimes they make like
I don't know. Tell us about your
No,
red room.
not
Are you
the
talking
sex
about the ones
swings.
that go over the door?
no, I mean like how sometimes like you'll order something or whatever and it's like it mounts to something.
Kind of like a hammock that
Sexcapades
you
with
buy
Noah.
on a like a hammock that you buy that's already
Yeah,
you
like
don't
it's already
need a tree.
attached.
It's already
you just,
attached to
you
something.
would just screw that into the then the whole swing would convey at that point, right? If you ordered the swing, let's say you order the swing, okay? Hypothetically, and the
Totally
swing
hypothetical.
swing comes in, it's all put together, and all you have to do is screw it into the mount it into the ceiling. At that point, the whole thing would stay, right? Because you didn't attach the swing to the hook.
Correct.
The swing's just drilled in.
We love
Correct.
real estate, boys.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, if anybody out there has a swing, we understand how it conveys.
Yeah,
Right.
if you don't want it to convey,
Take it down.
out.
Take it down.
Jess, what about you? Most unusual feature.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do have another. Oh my god, I forgot about this. So I was showing a house one time, and I went. It was chopped up, like it was like laid out so weird, and it was one of these like sprawling ranches in Buena Vista, and I mean it was probably close to 5,000 square feet because it was the whole upstairs, and then the downstairs was like the entire other length of the
Exact.
house.
Yeah.
And I go downstairs, and it appears that two other people are living down there, but they are like completely of like a different ethnicity. And then like the pictures that they had were like from I don't know where they were from, but it gave like a really weird vibe, and there was like a lot of like netting and purple everywhere. And then I looked on, like there's a printer down there because it was weird because it was like upstairs. It was like a typical
normal?
like an old person's estate home, and then you go downstairs and you can tell like the two people were living there that were just completely different. Anyway, I looked on the printer and it said something about like we aren't being held captive anymore.
What?
Yes. And it said something like, we have an attorney. And like I was reading on this paper that's on the printer, and I was like, guys, I just don't know if this is the right vibe.
You're like,
Oh
blink,
my
blink if you're not
gosh.
okay.
No,
Blink
and so,
twice.
so we left, and yeah, my client was just like, what do you want to do? I was like, nothing. I just, I just want to leave.
What are you supposed to
Yeah.
say? You call the listing agent?
No.
Okay.
And so, no, because then what was weird was I knew the guy that lived up the street. He had helped me with something else, and I'd called him and I was like, hey, do you know what's going on with this house? And he was like, oh, yeah, she has people living downstairs and like they change all the time. So I don't know if she's
Oh.
like helping. Obviously, she's helping in some way, but it's also really weird because it's like transient. And then, like, with that, I
She's
mean-
holding people captive.
Oh,
Either
absolutely.
Let's be
she thinks
real.
She's like
Yeah.
rescuing
Call
it what it
people
is.
type of
100%.
I
thing,
don't know.
Or she's the one holding them.
I don't know.
Either way, that's weird.
It was weird.
Mhm.
What did you
Um,
do? Call the listing agent and say, hey, I looked at the printer.
She said she
I'm
didn't
just
do
kidding.
nothing.
I would
She
like to
wanted
just
leave.
say I just didn't do anything.
What about the house with the neon FU that you took a picture with?
That was a
Oh,
beautiful house.
That was. That was
That was a beautiful house.
mostly because of the sign.
They were just
Mhm.
like European and into like
Mhm.
totally different art, but it
Uh-huh.
was that was beautiful. And I like that sign. My sentiments exactly. Anyway, that's it.
Matt.
Okay.
That was a lot. I know.
Any
That
weird
road.
showing? Like,
Yeah, Joey. Has
Like-
anybody touched your butt
You?
other than me? No, but have you ever felt like uncomfortable?
No, I own a gun.
Okay, yeah, that is true. That is true. Like if
Have
I
you
ever,
seen the reel where it's like
Dude.
you're walking through like a vacant house and you're like, let me just get my gun.
yeah, just so you
Let
know,
me just
I
let me
have
just
a
so you know
let me
gun.
make sure my
gun.
gun is still in here.
No, look, y'all. So we have this thing that we call it's our pants. So if somebody asks you, do you have your pants on? That means are you carrying? So
Okay.
it's, you know, if
Oh.
you're in public, do you have your pants on? No one knows this.
Yes.
So we had a friend of ours that was a fellow agent one time, and she went on the showing by herself, and so she was gone for a while, and so we called her, and she wouldn't answer the phone, and she's one of those that always answers the phone,
Oh, yeah.
always answers the phone, and they're like, she's not answering her phone, Joey, you got to go over there. Why? Because I have my pants on.
Because you have your pants
Mhm.
on.
And so I went over there.
No, she set the thing off.
Oh yeah, she, so yeah, when whatever.
So we have an app,
Yeah.
and like that's
can
how
set
we
off an
show
alarm.
houses, and we
Okay.
can push like if we're in trouble, or it's
Right.
like kind of like an alert.
Any agent can do this.
Yeah, and,
Yes.
and you
Okay.
set up
It's
who
in the
your
showing
emergency
time.
contact is.
Oh,
Okay. And this
okay.
agent had set me as one and then her significant other at the time as the
Okay.
other. So I get the alert. So they're trying to call her because I was showing property myself. So she was close to me. So I went over there. Her car's in the driveway. And I'm, calling her. She's not answering the phone. And so the door is wide open. The
Mm.
lockbox is laying there. So
Oh,
I'm get out with my gun and I'm
Mm-mm.
going in. And I, don't hear, don't see her, don't find anything. I look like Charlie's Angels going through there.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you, like, doing, like,
Yes,
this
And
whole
then I
thing?
see her.
Like,
She is out by the pool, doing a FaceTime tour with these people. So she's not answering her phone because she's
because
on
she's on
FaceTime.
FaceTime doing like
So
a
all
virtual.
these people are calling her.
Oh.
I'm calling her.
Yeah.
Noah's calling her. Or somebody else on our team is calling her, and she's not answering because she's on FaceTime.
and she didn't realize that she had,
Right.
like
She didn't
set
realize
off
she
that
pressed the
alarm.
button.
Yeah,
I think it.
And then I
think it's
scared the
set
crap
up-
out of her because she wasn't
You
expecting
had
anybody in
your
the
gun.
house.
yeah. And then there's Joey.
I'm
with
like,
the
she's,
It's-
where is he?
I
I'm
think
like,
it's-
blink twice. Are you okay?
I think she had it set up like that. If you don't leave your scheduled appointment by this time, it automatically sends out something. Is what happened.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and she spent more time there than she had planned to. So she, it's like I had no idea that it even went off, and we're
Good.
all like, "She's dead." She's
dead. That's
oh
it.
no.
I hate it.
Yeah.
She's dead.
Yeah, she's
like,
dead. I
I
hate
don't
it.
know what to do.
Dang.
Send Joey.
Send Joey. She'll find her. She's resilient.
She's
She'll get over it.
That's definitely pretty crazy. Is that your craziest thing?
I mean, I've walked in on people asleep after they,
Ugh,
smoked a
God.
little and cooked some French fries as a snack.
God.
Mhm.
They were snoring.
What do you do? Say
You
I'm
just-
here.
No,
I'm
they
sure.
were passed out because they, had the munchies after they smoked a little. And, we walked in, you smell freshly cooked French fries, and you're like, somebody here? We don't know. So I sent my buyer. My buyer was like 6'8". I'm like, can you just walk back there?
You're like,
first?"
"Why
I mean,
don't
I
you
got my
go back
pants
there?"
on, but can you go back there?
Yeah.
And so he walked back there and he opened the bedroom door. Dude was asleep. So he just backed out, shut the door, and we walked out. But we did call the listing agent. That's
Yeah.
the first thing I do. Call the listing agent. People are asleep. We can't show this property like
Yeah.
this.
I wish I could sleep like that.
Right.
To where
True
somebody
people-
walks in the
Somebody
house.
walks in your house.
And I, like, you just have no idea
No,
whatsoever.
there's not enough magnesium in the world.
No.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
I would my
I
pants.
Yes.
literally hear a pin drop, and I'm like wide
Yeah.
awake.
Well,
Yeah.
as moms, you have that mom sense
Sure.
of you
Like
never sleep soundly.
No.
You hear
Mhm.
everything. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jeff does too. He's the helicopter dad.
That is me.
That is I.
That is me. Straight into the ground.
Craziest thing, craziest person, situation.
Oh.
Well, it's always her. She's always the
Honestly,
craziest.
she's like, I
Honestly.
walked in and that was it.
Yeah.
She's like, it is me.
Yeah, I'm probably the craziest situation someone's ever had to deal with. I don't know. Let me think about it. I mean, I don't know. That people held captive in the basement was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, maybe that was just like a part two to
Yeah.
that original question.
Thanks, Joe.
And I've never really had anybody make me feel, oh, you know what? I did, y'all know we had the hardest time selling out there in Louisville. And I rolled up there to put the packets in the house. And this man had no shirt on, smoking weed,
Where was this?
hammering his fence. And he was supposed to be out in like 10
I know what you're talking about. Out there. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh
I
my
do.
God.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had the
Yes.
hardest time selling that house.
That was one where the refrigerator was going down in the floor because it was soft.
Yep.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he would never leave.
Oh.
He was like very threatening
Yes.
to our
Like,
broker at the time. And
oh my God. Yeah, that was
yeah, I
rough.
was like, hey, it's being shown in like, 10 minutes. He's like, yeah, I'll be out of here. And I'm like, okay, well, you have your Buick trunk pop out here, tarp off, smoking a J, hammering this fence that, my God, there's no point in hammering it. The whole was broken.
Oh God.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Right. Why
Like,
are you
just
doing
get
this
the
right now?
out of here
Yeah.
so we can try to sell this. And that was like, I was kind of uncomfortable then because he was just kind of weird and erratic
Mhm.
acting.
Was he the only seller? Like, or were there other people?
Yes.
And so, like, I don't understand. He wanted to sell the house, right?
I don't know if he
You
did.
know, he
Okay.
acted.
I think it was some type of like a POA situation. I don't think that I don't think
okay.
he was he was,
Actual.
but he wasn't. Like he had to sign off on stuff, but I think it was somebody else telling him he had to.
I gotcha.
Mm.
Because I came in on
Yeah.
I came in the middle of that one.
Mhm.
That was the start of a nightmare. That
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
was
Yeah, like he
Terrible.
would text our broker at the time and just basically like threaten
it was
and let
awful.
them have it. And I was just like, dude, this
Mm-mm.
is wild. Yeah. So it was just one that, I mean, eventually we got through it, but he
Okay,
definitely made us feel a little uncomfortable.
I have a question off of our little path here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a client like that now, do you keep them or fire them? Like, is it worth your time?
To me, no, Joey will never fire people.
Yeah. I always ask that because, like,
Yeah.
your
No,
put up with
yeah.
level is different.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, my bullshit tolerance is a hell of a lot lower than Joey's. Joey, I think, does it because like she's like, I'm gonna make this happen. Where I'm
Yeah.
just like, I mean, what's it worth to you?
Yeah.
Your mental
Can we
sanity.
talk about the definition of what's moving ready and what's not moving ready?
Yeah, I mean, we have a client right now. It's a little tough.
No, it does. Regardless of the client, we'll look at a house. We sold a house for a friend of Jess's a couple of months ago, and she's like, "There's so much stuff that needs to be done." I'm like, "No, this is move-in ready." And Jess is like, "Mm-mm." I'm like, "Somebody can move in this house today and live here.
Mhm.
You might not."
That is true. Like,
Yeah.
and it's very subjective.
Yeah.
So is move-in ready just like nothing's caving in, the water's running,
Mhm.
the heat is on,
Mm-hmm.
That is
There's
Joey's definition.
not bugs. Like, can there be bugs? Or
No bugs. No.
Okay, all right.
Like
so
it's
no bugs.
inhabitable. Like you can move in and you
I
can
mean,
live
because
there.
toilet.
I have to go back to
a
right.
toilet.
Well, it was a three.
A
It was a
turlet.
3 1.5. I mean, it was brick. It was a brick ranch. 3 1.5. Roof was on there. It had heat. Had air.
Roof was attached.
Yeah. I mean, had a front door. Had windows. Had some
Tornado
nice
didn't take the
flooring.
roof.
I mean, it was in an okay neighborhood, and it just, it was you just have to, I mean, being
I
poor
refuse.
once upon a time, some people can't
Yeah.
afford it. I mean, that was a dream for somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay. Now we're just gonna throw me under the
That was-
bus.
What a
That
piece
was
of
the dream.
what a piece
That
of
was-
wow.
Jessica doesn't work with the poor.
Jeez.
Jess, that would be called somebody's dream home.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I know. Everybody deserves the dream.
And you would
American
say,
It's their dream.
welcome to your dream home.
Welcome
So-
to your
That's
dream
right. That's
home.
what your packet says.
That's what they used to say. Now it just says welcome home. I felt like dream was a little
Dream's
aggressive.
a little extended
Yeah.
sometimes.
I felt it was
It could
really
be like
aggressive.
A stepping stone.
Sure.
Right, yeah.
Jess is like,
Everybody
welcome
has to
in.
start somewhere.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like in real estate too. Even in media, like being able to curb your personal
Sure.
like expectations.
yeah.
Like
Or
That's
your
hard.
or your
it is hard
your
because you don't want
taste.
to right.
You know?
Yeah. And like, because sometimes I'll walk in and just be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet
Holy
because you kinds of stuff.
all kinds of stuff. But then you just have to remember that like everybody's different. People come from different
Mhm.
parts, But
Yeah. Well,
Um,
even that orange washed house. I mean, like honestly, and what we
I mean, the
told
house was
our
cute.
client, paint.
Yeah.
And it's a fine house.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the house
Like,
itself
yeah.
was cute.
And paint's easy.
Right.
Sure.
It was
mean-
just a lot of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but so it is. So everybody's perspective is different.
And not everybody can see it. That's the biggest thing.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of nightmares
Mm-hmm.
and horror stories,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this one to Joey. What horror stories do you have with clients? That could be listings or negotiations.
I can tell you the worst client that you can ever have is family.
It's
Okay, so
closer.
I can tell this one. I sold my oldest child a house like 5 years ago, and I call it Geller-ageddon. His last name is Geller, and it was the hardest, and he knows, the hardest transaction in my whole, at that point, 12 years. It was the longest, hardest transaction. When you are in a attorney's office that you have used your whole career, and they trust you, and your child's spouse is in there cussing on the phone at the lender at the time, and you're over there just with your hand on your head. Please don't hear this. Please don't hear this. Y'all understand? You're in an attorney's office yelling in the phone, cussing.
Mhm.
But yeah, our family, they know it all. You can't, they feel like they can talk to you in a different tone. I mean, I was thinking about that today. I have the same conversation with all my other people that I buy and sell with, but when you have it with your family, they feel like they can talk to you in a different way.
That's exactly
So,
right.
I know, my mom's the same way. When she starts talking about real estate, I'm just like, okay.
And you
Because I'm
let
not going to
them.
argue with it.
you
Yeah,
let
because I'm
them.
not going to argue.
Because I'm not fighting with you to prove my
Right.
point. Because at the end of the day, if you don't work with me, you're dead to me. So there's that.
Right.
And they already know that.
Exactly.
So I'm going to let them talk however they
There's
want
that.
because they
I
know.
firmly stand by that. I'm mad you had brunettes. That's fancy. I had George Dickel.
That was the cheapest thing.
Dude,
dude. I had the Dickel.
Fireball.
Okay,
That's
I've
what we
never
had.
had it.
And that
I
shit
don't know what it
Okay,
was.
that's
I
not cheap. That
stole
wasn't
it
cheap
out
back
of
then.
somebody's parents' cabinet.
did anybody ever drink Hypnotic?
Oh my
yes.
God. And oh
Okay.
I have a confession, and I still do. I have it at my house.
You do not
Yes,
have
I do.
Hypnotic at your
Yeah,
no.
house.
Okay, no, you can
Yeah,
use that
that's my
now.
party trick.
Do
You
you
can
make-
use
What
that
is
to
it?
like
She
mix.
said that's her party trick.
Yeah,
you
bring
can
it
use
out.
it. You can use it to mix, and it will make a sick ass drink.
I just like
will
to take shots.
you
of
make
it.
Oh
Incredible Hulk.
no!
I just take shots of it.
You make
That's
Incredible
my party
Hulk.
trick. Whenever I'm like over the summer by the pool, or in the summer, whatever I'm trying to say.
Do you have a
by
pool?
The pool, yeah. And I
Oh,
got
we're
a
going to
bottle.
Allie's
Oh,
house.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to
I
Allie's
got a
house.
bottle of Hypnotic ready, waiting for y'all.
What is Hypnotic?
I don't even know.
It's blue.
It's
Yep.
blue.
Yep.
It's pretty.
One time,
It's blue liquor.
It's like the blue version of Goldschlager. I mean,
No,
it's
Ugh.
It's just blue.
that's the
Same.
look that you get when you drink
but
it.
no,
Same
like
level.
when you then when you're in the club,
Mhm.
We all fam.
Mm-hmm.
well, when you in the club, you mix it with Hennessy, and that's Incredible Hulk. But it turns green.
Let me tell you something. Do not ever take any shots that Jess Heineck tells you to take.
Yeah, look, don't get on the
Okay.
shot
listen,
kick.
I
Look,
agree.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Ashley, if you're
Because
listening,
here's what these fools do. Okay, let me tell you what happened. So we went to Clemens, and we went to
Another
go see-
town he's fixing
So
to,
Look,
know.
what?
No,
To get
Clemens is
canceled.
fine.
Yeah.
I actually like Clemens. It's very cute. Traffic is terrible. I feel like it's very
Clemens?
overpopulated. Yes,
Yes,
for,
like,
for very
yeah.
small
Yeah.
short roads. But we went to Clemens. We went to go see your uncle playing a
Yes.
band.
Yes.
Okay, First time I've been. So I was
Shout
like,
out to Jody.
shout out
Yeah,
Jody.
shout Jody.
Ow.
With
so,
the Astro Cats.
yeah. I don't even know the name.
Yeah,
So-
we didn't.
So we went.
It's not important.
And I thought we were going to grab a couple beers, like just whatever, have a
Yeah.
couple drinks, watch the band, leave. So me and my partner, we go and get some sushi. And when I say some, we ate a fuck ton of sushi, like a lot of
can
sushi.
eat.
Like it was
Like
a
a whole
lot.
boat.
I
It
would
was
never
ridiculous,
eat
yeah.
a sushi boat
And
before going.
I
to
didn't
the
know
damn
that's what we were doing.
Clemens Village
Yeah.
Tap
Oh,
No,
House.
no.
Okay.
I
Normally,
would've known
normally
better.
Noah's like, okay, Joey's going. We got to wait and see what drinking
Yeah.
mood that Joey's in, because if Joey's not in a drinking mood, then Noah he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if Joey's in a drinking mood, he's screwed.
I'm
yeah.
Let's just say it
Because
like that.
then I team up with Jess, and
Oh my God.
that's it.
So here's what happened. So we're sitting there and like we're, we had we had sushi, whatever. We're like, and we come in and it was one of those nights. she was on it. She was ready to go.
I
She
was.
was like, all right, we're going to have some drinks.
Mhm.
And Jess was right behind her and she was like, yeah, we're going to have some drinks. Drinks. So Jess orders all kinds of Royal Flush, lemon drop,
Damn.
cinnamon toast
We
crunch.
did 5 shots in the first hour.
Let me tell you, we took, no.
Milagros.
You took
tequila
like
is the
3.
best.
So here's what these fools did. So I'm the youngest in the group, and everybody knows
He's a
I'm going to do it.
baby.
Everybody knows I'm going to do it. I have no self control when it comes to this group. So when they say let's do shots, the answer is always yes. I literally don't care. And so we're doing shots, whatever. But they're big ass shots.
Yeah, they're double
like,
shots.
They're
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like double shots.
You know, you've
Yeah.
been there before.
Like they're
Allie,
big.
I
They're
know you've
big.
been there.
Yeah, girl, I've
Yes,
been there.
that's what I'm saying.
They're big, and it's great, but they were big. And so Joey is doing like a half of one and then sliding it my way.
Uh-huh.
And Jess is doing like,
That's me
a
too.
half of one and sliding it my way.
Shit.
After the tequila,
right.
you were like, okay, I'm slowing down a little bit. They're
Yeah.
throwing my way, so I'm doing them. So for everybody's like one shot, I'm doing like 2. Okay. And everybody else is doing 2, which means I'm doing 4.
Well, because I can't do a lot of like sweet.
I can't either.
Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like
and
I'm
that
shooting
much
tequila
liquid at one time. Like,
Yeah.
shoot,
Yeah.
I just can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
College, yes.
all
So-
the sweet stuff we passed to our sweet little baby Noah.
So, yeah. So this was the Saturday before Easter Sunday.
Yeah, it was.
No.
He rose again.
He was about. Yeah, he was
He
about to
rose.
rise.
God.
The next day he rose.
He was about to
and I don't
rise.
know how I rose,
But you did.
I literally was barely alive. I woke up the next morning, everything hurt, everything was spinning. I was like literally laying like on the floor in the bathroom, just like vomiting over and over and over again.
Oh.
Didn't even text them at this point because I'm barely like my mom had to come to my house, bring me medicine, like
Oh my God.
non-nausea, but it was like one that also made you fall asleep. So I was literally like, it was one of the first times I went out with like my boyfriend now, who so this was the first time we had ever been out together.
Oh,
And the
wow.
poor guy is like sitting outside. the
He's like,
bathroom.
wow,
And
is
he's
this
like,
how y'all go out?
God.
he said, I think I have fallen in love with an alcoholic. And I'm like, guys, no. So
You're
now
like, this isn't regular.
yeah, so now when we go there, it's something about that place. I think it's the place.
Mhm.
The shots just taste different. The second time we
Yeah.
went, I was like, I just can't. I couldn't.
And
It
this
was-
is
Can't
what
do
we
it
do
again.
as real estate agents.
Yep,
We do all drink.
we do.
That's one
It's
Jess
the
is
only way to
not
make it
allowed.
through.
One
Yeah.
thing we have in common.
Jess
Yes.
is not allowed to go drinking with my wife.
Your wife can make her own decisions. She's a modern woman.
The closest we have been to divorce is when she comes home from being out with Jess Hyman.
Jess she has that effect
She has
on
that
people.
effect.
I'm like, you go in there.
And then she's like, I
You
don't
turn
know
on
why
all
she
those
says
lights.
I don't know why she's so drunk.
Oh my God, where were we? A moment that you had to think on your feet to save a deal, Jess. Every day.
Honestly,
Yeah, we're fighting
think
for our
on my
life.
feet.
Like last minute, you were like, "This will save the deal."
Yeah.
Nothing yet. I mean,
That's right. You throw
It
it, on
was-
to Joey. You were like, "Hey,
Well,
Joey,
it
what do
was
we
hard.
do?"
it was hard. work-
you do?
No, it was hard working with family,
Mhm.
and I had to hold a lot back out of my mouth
No, you
that I
didn't.
would normally say.
Go ahead and say it.
You
No,
closed the deal. Go ahead.
I did close the deal, but thinking on my feet like really quickly, not really. I mean, I just
Yeah.
had to put up with a lot
Yeah.
to like get there. A lot of opinions and that were not accurate, and I knew it, but
Will you
So-
just not say anything?
no, I try to just wear kid gloves with it, but just to be clear, I would do anything to save a deal.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Touch a
Anything.
peach.
yeah, anything.
Anything.
Like a
Anything.
peach.
I would do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
And I mean anything.
I mean, anything.
Now, please look into the camera and
Yeah.
I mean anything. Anyone, anything.
Oh, good.
All right.
Joey?
Love that.
Okay, mine's a little simpler. Mine's not quite that exciting.
What is it?
So I tell the story when I do a buyer consultation. It's called the mattress story.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. I do remember
heard
this
it,
story.
obviously.
Mhm.
Okay, so when you're having your buyer consultation and you tell your buyers, you don't do anything out of the ordinary. You don't buy anything. You don't put anything on layaway. You don't spend any money unless it's your debit card. You don't put anything on your credit card.
Yep.
You have that same
Love that.
conversation.
I was going to say,
Okay.
Al, you probably have
And
that
I tell them, and
conversation
I
all
say, and it's the things that you don't think about. Okay, so I had a 59-year-old man. He was a first-time home buyer. Bless him. Everybody has the dream
Bless.
at
Yeah,
some
of
point.
course.
Okay,
He was
I
so
don't
he
know
got
why
there.
you look at me. I have 4 dreams. I have dream. I'm pro dreams.
And she'll do whoever.
It was a little bitty brick ranch. Also,
That's fine. I love that for him.
it was livable.
Wait.
It was
Yes.
move-inable.
Can
Okay.
we sidebar to the time that that Matt looked at Jess and said, "We're not selling homes, Jess. We're selling dreams."
Yeah, well, he knows.
Is Matt your husband?
Yes.
Okay.
God,
Okay,
Allie, I
move
can't
forward.
wait for
I'm
you
so
to
sorry.
meet him.
All right. So you tell your people not to do it, and I say this. Here's my story. He was a 59-year-old man. He was buying a house for the first time. He was more excited about buying, and this is the gross part, about buying his first brand new mattress as he was buying this house. And I'm like,
Aw.
okay,
That's
I
not
say-
gross, Joey. Some people don't have mattresses. So,
new mattress.
yeah, new
Okay.
mattresses.
Are you going to sleep on a non-new mattress?
Personally, no. But that,
Okay, so I said, all right, so you can go buy this mattress. I said, but you have to pay cash for it. He was like, yep, absolutely. I have $1,200 in my pocket. I'm going to go buy this mattress today. Well, if you live in Kernersville, you know there's like a mattress store on every corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
there
think
it
they're
is.
cover-ups.
So he
for
went
drugs.
to one
Yes.
of
they're
Yes,
definitely
they are.
firms.
So he went to one of the-
Sorry, mattress firm.
Yeah,
We just
sorry.
outed you.
We're canceled.
the mattress
NC
company
Real
that shall
Estate
not be
Unfiltered,
named.
brought
Right.
to you by Mattress Firm.
also, by the way, all of the things we've talked about today, allegedly.
Yeah, we would like
Yeah.
to.
So
Start that.
I told him, I said, pay cash. So he went to one of the mattress companies on the corner and he went to get his mattress. So that was a Friday. So on Monday we have a closing because I know this man, and, this is all special. I went and picked him up. We went to the attorney's office. Our closing was at 9 a.m. Well, at 8:50, he gets a phone call. So he's in my car and he answers the phone and I can hear the lender on the other
Oh,
side.
no.
And they say, Mr. Such and Such, did you happen to go purchase a mattress this weekend? And he said, I absolutely did. It's the first new mattress I've ever purchased for my brand new home. I'm so excited. And she said, Mr. Such and Such, did you open an account with that company? And he said, no, my real estate agent told me that I had to pay cash. I went up there with cash in my pocket. I absolutely gave them my $1,200. And the agent said, if I open this account and pay it off, they'll give me 10% off.
Mm.
Mm.
So he opened an account and they ran his credit, which
Mhm.
affected his credit, which affected,
Debt to
pulls, debt to
income.
income. Monday
Mhm.
morning, day of closing, he couldn't close.
Mm-mm.
So my quick thinking was, I said, okay, we have a 3-day lemon law thing, right? I said, can he not return?
The
He hasn't taken the mattress yet, but can he not return it? They closed the account and then he rebuy it later.
Yeah.
And luckily, he could. So
Okay.
it cost him 5 days, though. That was the Monday. He closed on Friday. All
My
because
shoulders are tight.
yeah,
No,
all
yeah.
because
Allie's
he
like,
wanted a
"Help."
mattress. He wanted 10% and didn't think twice about it because he knew he was paying it because he
Yeah.
opened the account and he paid for it right then. But because he opened it and they ran his credit, it cost him 5 days.
Ooh, well,
Mm-hmm.
but that was quick thinking.
Yeah.
Allie's
That
gonna wake
was-
up in the middle of the night and be
Be
like,
like,
She's
oh
gonna be
my
dreaming about
gosh.
mattresses.
She's gonna be like, who bought a mattress?
Allie's like, okay, this is really great. I love this. She's texting everybody who's buying a house
Yeah,
right now.
she's
Do
like, do
not
not
go
buy
to the
it.
mattress.
Oh,
Well, I tell them, and then you have the people who go to Ashley Furniture and put their stuff on layaway, and they're like,
Yup.
it's on layaway. I'm like, they're running your credit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't
Yeah.
do that
No.
either.
Yeah.
So, what's the wildest thing that you've seen? Like somebody's getting ready to buy a house and then
Yeah, Allie, I do.
You're
I
like-
want to know
Buy a
that.
car. I mean, right?
Change a job.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
Okay. He's already
he
stressed.
was a real estate agent for he wasn't like a typical real estate agent. I don't even know what you would call it, but like for like an open door or something, like
Oh,
a sales
yeah.
agent maybe.
Mhm.
So like he didn't understand the world completely like we do.
He just
that's-
wrote paper.
That's the grace I'm giving him, right?
Mhm.
He was clear to close, and it was like 5 days before closing, I think, or 10, whatever we do, 10-day verbal verification of employment to make sure they haven't quit their job. Well, he quit his job, and he's 100% commission. So, like, y'all know that starts the clock over, and you have to have a year for history. And I'm like, hey, we just got this. I don't know if, like, somebody spoke, like, you know, they didn't mean to say you quit your job, you know,
like maybe somebody
did
didn't
somebody
understand.
misspeak or something? No, he's like, no, I left there. I started at such and such agency, and I was like, okay. And he's like, I didn't think y'all would check that because I was already clear to close. I'm like,
well, that's
yeah.
bone fraud.
Just
We
so
do check
happens.
that.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
check that. He's like, well, this new place is paying me a salary.
That's probably
I'm
why
like,
he works for Open
Thank
Door.
you,
Yeah, right.
baby Jesus.
Oh,
that
yeah.
This new place is paying him a salary because we were able to close.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because
With
it's
the salary,
salary.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
that's
God.
just like today. we're doing a whole upset bid thing, and I had to write down the woman's name from her driver's license, and I said, your driver's license expired 2 days ago. So if you want to buy a house, please make sure it's not
Yeah.
expired when we go to close.
I
'cause
had that happen too
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
Something as simple as that, as
Oh,
an
yeah.
expired driver's license, they won't take it.
Now,
Now,
some people will I found this out the other day because we had an older lady who she doesn't drive anymore. She doesn't,
Yeah.
her license is
Passport?
expired. Passport. They let her bring her passport.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
But I mean, if your driver's license is expired, you probably.
Well, she
don't
should,
have- you know
but
what I
like if
mean?
you were in
You
a
might.
pinch, a passport,
Yeah.
that's good to know. I wouldn't have even thought about
But
that.
your passport has to be valid too.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are,
Yeah.
if my driver's license is expired, my passport probably is also expired. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Not
Like,
Not
necessarily.
But I guess they
for a
last longer,
while.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're different time periods.
Right.
Like my passport might
Mhm.
expire in 2030, my
Yeah.
license
Right.
2035.
Yeah.
In the very beginning of my career, it was during COVID and like things were really, really crazy all the time. And I feel like OnlyFans was more popular, maybe. I don't know. But I had to get a girl.
Still pretty popular.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's still
well, maybe-
popular,
maybe-
depending on who
Jeff,
you are.
who do you subscribe to?
Yeah, who
Maybe
are you?
it was the onset.
No one. Absolutely no. Are you crazy?
Noah? Do you have
Baby
Noah's?
Yeah,
Baby
my
would-
do you
Baby
have
would
my
cry.
only
Yeah.
do you have my only feet?
Well, I figured once we were done with that.
No, baby does, so he's good with that
Baby
one.
does. Maybe it was like the very beginning of OnlyFans. Does anybody know when OnlyFans started? Was that
I don't
know.
know, but I
Jeff.
feel like you're
Anyways.
right. Like
I feel like it
started
was
to get
around. I
popular.
feel like it was
Yeah.
around COVID, like a
Yeah,
little bit
Yeah,
well,
after
because
I
COVID.
think
people
you're
were
right.
home
People were
and they were
home
like,
and
"Well, how do
bored."
we make money?"
I had to have a girl because she was doing like a USDA loan or something where they look at every single deposit and they're
Oh,
like, "What
yeah.
is this? What is this?" They want to make sure your income's not too much. She had to explain it, what it was, and what she did, and how much she earned, and
What was she
that was
showing?
Yeah, what was-
awkward.
But no, I want to know how much.
What was she showing? You want to know how much? I want to know what.
I don't even remember how she explained it. I mean, she was showing the whole shebang, is
Oh.
what she told me.
Was
but-
it an act? She was involved in an activity or just
No, just like
Let's
showing
just find her
stuff.
page.
Pictures.
Just pull it up.
I have to go back and see what that was, but
I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like if you're gonna do it, just say, "Yeah, it's what." I mean,
Yeah.
it's so common now.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like most young people are like, "Yeah, I have an OnlyFans."
yeah. I've had
Yeah.
strippers apply, and their title is exotic dancer.
Uh huh. Well, please put some respect on
Respect.
their name. I mean,
I'm not a janitor.
shout out to the exotic dance community.
Yeah.
We will also help you find a home or sell your home.
They too have a dream.
They
Dude,
do.
Right.
I'm for that dream.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Joey, what do you feel like right now is currently working in your market?
OnlyFans.
Matt.
Matt.
I mean, it just depends on what aspect you're talking about. I mean,
When you know, okay, so like you're out showing a house, you're at a buyer consult, you're at a listing appointment. What do you know when your client says something or they do something, you know it's going to be a smooth deal?
I can for
Oh.
100% positively say you never know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Never. You
Mhm.
never know. The people it's if the people that you think are going to be the smoothest transaction is the
Ends up
hardest.
not.
Yeah.
The hardest ones go the smoothest. The buyer consults that you go and you leave and you're like, "Oh man, we are going to do this deal and this is the thing." And you get a text the next day and they're like, "We got cold feet."
Right.
Mhm.
You know, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel
That makes
it's that
sense.
way with listings. Like when I shoot
Yeah.
a listing, I'm like, "This thing's gonna sell."
Mhm.
And
And
then
it
then
doesn't.
that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or like you walk into one, you're like, there's no damn way this thing is going to sell. And it's
I
Uh,
think,
yeah.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like for listings, it always right now in this market is coming down to price every single time.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like anything will sell at the right price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's probably always been that way, but I feel like now more than ever because you have sellers who think that they can sell their house for
Yeah.
$700,000.
they're having a
That
hard
same
time
mentality.
understanding.
And
that
buyers-
it's not like that
And
anymore.
buyers who are re-entering the market and they're like, no, that's not like. First of all,
Mhm.
cool. You can think that all day long, but that's not happening.
Well,
for
that,
me.
but yeah, because it all comes down to and the rates. They just haven't come down as much as we would like them to. I mean, not saying
Way to go,
they're
Allie.
bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, not saying
Good
they're
call.
bad. Like these are actually
Yeah.
like great rates, but
Mhm.
like they're not what people were used to
Yeah.
during COVID. And
Yeah.
so, but it all matters on your bottom line, like what your
Mhm.
mortage is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
By the
and,
way,
I
let's talk
mean-
about the fact that COVID was an anomaly. Like
Yeah.
you were
Oh,
never
yeah.
Never gonna see that
put
again.
that out there
Yeah.
real quick. You will
Maybe
never
if we
see a
had,
2 or
like,
3%
I
rate.
mean,
again.
World War III or like something crazy has to happen.
We
for
were
that
in a
to
Yeah.
happen.
global pandemic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so when people say to me, and they say it a lot, oh well, I'll wait for rates to be 3% or
I'm
blah blah.
not giving up
So
my
you're
3%.
gonna right. So you're gonna wait for a like natural disaster to happen. Like that's what
Mhm.
you're asking for is
Mhm.
for us to
It
because
would
that's what happened. That's
Mhm.
they had to make rates that low because nobody was moving because we
Mhm.
were all not allowed to go anywhere, not allowed to do anything. I
Yeah.
don't know.
All
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and how fast homes would sell.
No.
Oh
yeah.
my
Oh,
gosh.
Like I got worried about media. I was like, you don't even need fucking media.
Right.
Yeah,
That-
that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's
You
a valid
don't. Like,
point.
you just go in and take pictures with your iPhone.
Yeah.
Somebody's
Yeah.
buying it. But
Well,
now
now you do. Yeah, now you do. But like,
But
you're
it's
right.
definitely
Then,
yeah.
changed.
you-
Yeah, it's definitely changed.
I
well,
remember-
and cash is king always. But
I remember my dad's neighborhood. There was a house that got listed, and he said there was like a line out the door. I don't know if they were doing an open house or
Oh, yeah.
something, but like that's just
Mhm,
crazy to think
mhm.
about that was happening.
I did a live feed one morning where I had a house that, and it wasn't the greatest house,
I
and it wasn't the
remember.
greatest
the
condition.
one in Kernersville?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And it was pouring cats and dogs the day it went live. And for me, that's the best time to go because nobody normally wants to go out. I'll sell a house all day when it's raining. So I went just to see. I'm standing out there in my umbrella. The line was down the street
That was
just to
That
go
is
in at 10 a.m.
crazy.
because the seller had to go to work. So they
Mhm.
had to wait till 10. They were waiting for 10 o'clock. And as soon as 10 o'clock hit, you saw every door open up and they started their line.
Mhm.
I'm like,
She's
that's
like, how many
ridiculous.
packets you put in there? I was like, 20. She's like, they gone.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
Mm.
I was like,
So-
well, that's all right. The house is probably going to sell, and it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that, just to go on that question a little bit more, as far as like a listing or like if you have a seller, like what do you feel like is working to get that to sell? Or if you have a buyer, what do you think is working to get them to understand that it's not a bad time to buy? Or what's working to like get them to secure a good deal? Talk on something like that.
I mean, the luck of the draw now is properties that are mediocre, and what I say by that is they're maybe they're priced $5,000 too high, just a little bit, and it's not something that's in immediate need. Is they're sitting on the market between 14 and 21 days, so buyers don't feel like they have to jump on it. Now, I'm still, if you want it, you better jump on it because the
Mhm.
one
Yeah.
you want is going to be gone.
Yep.
But
It always works like that.
it always works
Mhm.
like that. But now we're able to ask for a little bit of closing cost at this point.
Mhm.
That's the biggest help, especially because I work with a lot of first time home buyers, so they need all the help they can get.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Girl,
And
I know.
before in the pandemic, they were pretty screwed.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
because
was-
you couldn't get any help.
Mhm.
And for you, I'm sure that sucked for you because a lot of people didn't want to do the down payment assistance, so
Yeah.
they looked for any 100% program.
Yep.
So that's the biggest thing. And as far as listings are concerned, you just try to be real with them, and if they're not going to be real, then it's probably going to be a bigger headache than you want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Now, if they're not realistic at your listing appointment, do you do anything then? Do you discuss the price then and say, you know what, we'll do what you want to do, but
Mhm.
after a certain amount of time or whatever, you're agreeing to drop the
Yeah,
price?
so I go ahead and tell them, this is where I feel like your house will comp. And if they're like, well, I think it'll sell for this, I'm like, okay, well, I can show you my comps. But, you don't try to argue with them, but you just say, just look, it's going to sit and that's going to show you that it's overpriced. So I'm going to come in saying, if it's still on the market in 14 days, I need you to go ahead and agree to drop the price without a conversation, because that's obviously, I mean, if your house is beautiful and all the things are right, and the only thing that's in question is the price and it's still sitting there, then that's going to tell us the feedback from the agents and then the fact that it's sitting there. We're going to go ahead and agree to drop it.
Mhm.
And most will, some won't. And if they don't like the way you do your business, that's fine.
Yeah.
But for the most people, they understand, because at least you're giving them that hope of that's what they want. And if they can get it,
Mhm.
fine.
Great.
But then you have the conversation, well, you also got to make sure it appraises, because
Mhm.
just because you think that it's
Yeah.
worth this,
Mhm.
the bank may not. So
Mhm.
just consider
They don't even think
it
about
may come
that.
down.
No,
Right.
they don't.
They
think
don't.
They
about
don't think about that.
Mm-mm.
Or if they're family.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the that was
That
a
was
hard
probably really hard.
conversation. Well, just because they were like, well, it's definitely worth more, and it's like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it did, and it sat, and
Mhm.
it sat, and it sat, and it sat, and we ended up having to spend money on the house
Mm-hmm.
to get it to sell. And lo and behold,
It
it
sold for what
literally
it should have been
sold
started.
for what we said that it was worth. In
Well, the
the first
numbers don't
place.
lie.
I can't wait
And
to air
numbers
this
are the
one.
most factual thing.
Go ahead and air it.
Because
It's
you
all
know
done
they're
now.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean, but
done
I
now,
think-
but it is. It's just one of those things. It's like, well, we told you a
Yeah.
year ago
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
this is what this property was worth
Yeah.
because it had some strikes against it.
Right.
But a lot of times in that case, you deal with a lot of the emotion,
Yes.
especially when you deal with estates
My
and
house
stuff.
is worth.
We're talking about somebody who
Yes.
got mad over feedback from.
Oh my
agents.
I do
God.
get mad over feedback.
That was
because
the
Can we,
best.
can
I
we
was gonna
talk?
ask
Can
about
we have an
feedback.
episode
Feedback-
about agent feedback?
I was gonna
feedback
ask
is
about feedback.
bull. And this is to
So,
all
no,
you
no.
agents out there that you sit up on your high damn horse.
Hey.
Do not come at me with some silly ass feedback, okay? You like it or you don't like it. That's it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need you to ask me why my
I
grandmother
was gonna say
only
sidebar.
finished the kitchen and not the rest of the house. Well, because
She died.
because she was 90 years old and she could only get to the kitchen before she passed away, if that's okay with you.
Right.
I was gonna say PSA. She's talking about
Wow.
her grandmother's house, so she took
Yeah.
everything personal.
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated?
How do you stay motivated and avoid burnout? Because I need to know
I also would like to know this
real
one.
bad.
Drugs.
Same.
I hate my
Drugs.
life as of
Drugs.
today.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Hypnotic from
As we
from
no
Allie's
dead
house.
ass, as we go into spring market, I think everybody wants to know the secret. to
Please.
Oh,
this.
dude, because
Yes.
this week's already.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
killing
thought last year was gonna put me in the grave, and we are not even into April yet, and I am already like,
I'm 6
Yeah.
feet under.
Oh my God,
As
yeah.
of today.
yeah.
Today
I'm like,
was,
we're gonna cancel all the vacations because we're not gonna go.
Yeah, I almost jumped
So-
off of Ashby's balcony. Like, my
You went
phone
into
was
the
just
medieval
ringing. I was just
times?
like, it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You're
almost put
like-
on pseudo
Yeah,
armor,
just jump off.
walk out in the traffic.
All right, Jess. Do you have any advice to avoid burnout?
I don't really burn out. I'm kind of a passenger princess. It just in
No.
life in general. No, I mean wine helps.
Mm-hmm.
SSRIs help.
That's what I was gonna
Mhm.
say.
I say get on medication. Like that totally helps. I am an
Great
advocate.
advice to new agents.
I am
Just
an
go ahead and
advocate.
get on medication.
I think it's just for life.
Yeah, I do too.
Like just
It's-
for
it's a
waking
game
up in the
changer.
morning
Mhm.
and putting one foot in front of the other.
I mean, I don't know
Um,
if y'all saw the Facebook story the other day that Amanda Shore posted, and she said, "You know, you're at a real estate agent's office when you see this," and it was Tums on the desk, and it was my desk.
Yeah. A lot of in assets. No, I mean just for me it helps. Like I'm in like a different so when I started on a team. I've never not been a part of a team. And
Mhm.
so honestly, I think that helps me
Yeah.
because it's so easy to bounce it off. Plus like I use Noah
Mm-hmm.
and I have Joey, and before that I had my whole team. Like I've just always been able to share the load with other people. So I'm probably like a bad person to
Mm-hmm. Well, no,
ask
that's
this
No, that's
question.
exactly
Yeah.
what people need to know because
Yeah.
I think
Honestly,
it's
like,
hard to
share-
see value in teams.
Dude,
I think
it is.
in
There's
this
a lot
market-
of value in teams.
Yeah.
And there's a lot
Yep.
of value in having a transaction coordinator
Mm-hmm.
and who you pick for your lending. And like it really matters.
And your photography.
Mm-hmm.
It really matters who you use.
Yes,
Mhm.
it does.
Because everybody plays a part, and it can either go really well or it can go really not well depending on who you surround yourself with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in new agents, that would be advice I would give is consider joining a team so then you can soak up all the knowledge and be in front of as many transactions as possible, and
Yeah.
you can see like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how you navigate through some of that stuff because it's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's how I avoid burnout: is sharing the load, alcohol, lots of SSRIs. Yeah, so what was the question?
So if you feel yourself getting to that place of burnout,
Oh, yeah.
you said first you
The
cuss out your husband.
First thing, I'm upset.
Yeah.
Because I shouldn't be doing this anyway.
Yeah.
Second, honestly, what happens is I just convince myself just to hold on, because inevitably my next transaction will be one of those feel good factors.
Yeah.
It'll be something where it's like, okay, I actually helped this person, or they actually appreciate what we're doing and
Yeah.
like the work
Mhm.
that we're putting in. And those are the ones that you just have to hold on to white knuckle and just ride them down, because you have to just get through all the different personalities of folks that you deal
Yeah.
with. But that is what makes it worth it. So.
Yeah.
I do feel
I'm with you.
when you hit that like wall, like when you hit that breaking point, there's always something that happens. At least it's been that way for me. Like where something happens where
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, there was a reason.
Mhm.
As long as you keep going.
Won't
you
he
know.
do it?
It is.
Won't
Won't
It
he
is
do
tough.
it?
It is tough, and I think especially in
Praise.
I think
praise him.
I think especially I think all of us feel it. Like I know a big thing right now that I feel, and I'm sure everybody else does too, is nobody knows where our economy is going. And everybody knows
Mhm.
that's how it is every year. But honestly, I feel like this year I've struggled more than any other year to get whether it's realtors to commit or whoever to commit to like to me because of the fee, right?
Mhm.
And so you saying, you know, you guys really need to value being on a team and
Oh,
sharing
yeah.
the load and things like that. Like it makes a difference. Like you're not
It
just
does.
paying my fee for TC services. You're not just paying for Allie's lending services. Like we're here to help you.
Yeah,
Like,
because it can go badly.
Yeah.
Like if
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
have like a bad lender, if you don't have the help, like if you have a bad attorney, I mean it
Any of it.
it all kind of needs to come together. All the pieces need to fit. And yeah, so
And if you have a bad real estate agent, Jess Heineck will do anything for a sale. Just remember.
I'll take care of you. And if I won't, Joey for sure will.
I have one for Joey. If you could give one piece of advice to new agents, what would it be?
Get out.
Right.
Put your
Right.
big girl panties on. Get
Mhm.
ready for
Yeah.
the ride. I mean, it's a lot.
And it's not like what you see on TV.
No,
This
it
is not selling
This
sunset.
is not $1 million
absolutely
Hollywood
not.
strings,
No.
though.
I
mean,
do
they
too.
always look cute as hell.
They
Yeah.
do.
But no, this is not that.
No.
It is such a hard, like it is such a hard business.
Oh,
It is.
absolutely.
there
And
is-
I agree. That's what I was gonna say with Jess. So I used to be a productivity coach, and I would teach new agents.
Mhm.
So, and that was always my advice is, we would talk numbers, and when they get in the business, they have no clue. And the agents that got in during COVID, I mean, you could spit on something and it would
Yes.
sell.
Yeah.
So they
Yes.
don't know what hard work is.
No.
So when I would teach, and I'd be like, well, let me tell you, when I got into real estate, my first year I sold 1.
Mhm.
My second year I sold 2.
Mhm.
My next year I sold 3.
Wow.
And you just keep going. I mean, you just
Yeah.
have to keep going. So then they're all like, well, now you sell, 40 plus a year. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, so why are you on a team? Well, do I have to be on a team? No, absolutely not. I don't have to be on a team, but I do it for the camaraderie, because if I wasn't on a team and I worked out of my house, I would not get out of my pajamas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would not do anything. I would sell maybe 1 a year,
Yeah.
because I would just be looking at myself. I would be sitting there with my dogs
Yeah.
Mhm.
and petting them all day,
Yeah.
figuring some laundry to do, figuring something to clean, something, and I wouldn't get up. But
Plus, it's
I want to go have lunch with this one, because y'all see how she is. She is never. It's never a dull moment.
Well, plus it's just a bigger net.
Yeah.
Like I know so many people, she knows so many
Mhm.
people, and when
Mhm.
you're on a team, it's like all those different people know this pool of people, and it's like you can't do those kind of numbers without knowing.
Yes.
You
Yep.
know, it's
Yeah.
like it is. It's just it's all a networking game.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, who's like I like to call myself an introverted extrovert, because like
Yep.
I really do have to hype myself up to do stuff.
Mhm.
All right, we're
You
going
got
don't
this,
believe it.
girl.
I don't
going
believe it.
in. I do. And it's like, I do. Sometimes I
Yeah.
feel like socially exhausted, but
Oh, yeah.
then, but it's the name of the game. It's about who you know. But like
Mhm.
when you're on a team, it's also, it helps, because it is. You cast a wider net
Mhm.
without having to be, really out there.
Yeah.
We do have to be out there, but not. Anyway, it helps That would be my
I
advice to
feel
new
like
agents.
it's a pretty lonely business.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
It can be, yeah.
Like if you
for
don't have a
sure.
team, like it definitely makes it all worth it.
That's what I'm saying. I would be sitting at home all day.
Yeah.
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 Although
helps-
that sounds nice.
it
to do
helps
I mean, it
sometimes.
does
Yeah,
until
but
you
you
sit at
would
home
be
for 2 days
broke.
and you're like, oh my god.
You're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
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 So
and-
I go to the lake, so that's my
Yeah.
getaway.
That's
so
your
instead of
burnout.
burnout, my mom has a lake house, and that's her getaway. Even though she's retired, that's my getaway. So once a month for a week, I go to the lake, or at least 4 days.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
I mean, I still work.
Yeah,
I
of
mean, I don't
course.
ever stop working.
Yeah.
I'll work when I go to Italy. I mean, I work on vacation,
Right.
and everybody knows when you go on vacation, that's when it gets busy.
Mhm.
yeah.
So yeah, I take my laptop and I work from there, and then just at least to get away from the chaos.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that answers.
I think it's important to figure out your burnout period. Like I'm
Yes.
just now figuring out that once a quarter I need like a long weekend.
Yeah.
And of course we still work. Like I'm still on my phone, but I'm somewhere different. I'm not just looking at my computer screen or the same highways and the same roads and the
Or you're
same
not
four
doing like an
walls.
event or like
not-
whatever. It's
yeah.
not work. It's not centered around
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's 24/7. I
Yeah.
think too, like especially I'm sure with new agents, like they don't realize, and it's the same way with media.
I was
Like,
gonna say
it
your
is
phone going off
20
would drive me nuts. Like the
Oh,
way your
yeah.
phone goes
I mean,
off.
when I get out of a listing, I'll have 5 text messages.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
and
And
everybody.
then I'll
yeah.
be driving and I'll be like, well, there's a telephone pole.
Oh, dead ass. And that's the thing. Like that kind of answered another question I have. And honestly, this is for all of us. I have this question because my problem is not necessarily burnout, right? I don't know that I get burnt out. I think I get what I have found when things get really, really loud, when people are constantly texting me, constantly asking for things like I need, calling nonstop, which is basically all of
Which
spring
happens
market.
to be your job.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like I try really hard to compartmentalize and time block and say, you know what, nothing is on fire, and if an agent is calling me and I'm doing something, I cannot pick up the phone because I will go down a rabbit hole and
Yeah, and
all
mess
this
up.
work. So what I found last year, seriously, I mean, it was year 1 in the business, and I literally was
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
I
you gotta
can't do
figure it
this
out.
anymore. Like
Yeah.
it was so loud, and that was the only way I could like describe it or
Describe it.
explain it was like everybody needed something from me right now.
Mhm.
So like my question is like, what do you guys do? I mean, you said you go to the lake. So like, what do you guys do on a daily when it gets too loud? Do you just say like,
This is
I'm taking a beat?
This is always on mute. So, and my husband doesn't understand that. It's always on mute. And so one day I said, you know what? You want to understand why this is always on mute? I turned it up full volume and set it there and made him sit with me. And he was like, I would go crazy if I
Yeah.
heard all that. Because
Yeah.
the emails, the texts,
Ding,
all the.
ding,
I'm like,
ding.
now you
Yeah.
understand why it's on mute.
Yeah.
Because if I don't hear it, it's okay.
Mhm.
and it's people who need things. See, that's the
Right.
thing. We're not in jobs. We're not in like a 9 to 5 where if you miss it, it doesn't matter.
No,
Right.
everything
Somebody
we
is
do
not
is so
going.
time
Somebody's not
sensitive.
going to get a
Mhm.
home. Somebody is
Yeah.
not going
Yeah.
to close on their home if I do not respond
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah.
And like that is a weight that I don't think
Yeah.
anybody understands.
It
It
is
is the
so
it's
hardest.
so
time
heavy.
sensitive.
It's very heavy.
It's the hardest part
Yeah.
for me.
So
That's
what do
the
you
hardest
do?
part
Well,
of
yeah,
the
and like with
business.
you,
Does
like
anybody
it's
figure
like
it out?
I've got to have this on the market
I have
like
not.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
got 3 text messages today about needing photos tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, and like you don't, I mean, you do have to draw your boundaries.
I agree.
What kind of
Uh,
boundaries do you draw?
Hard ones.
He doesn't.
Like time?
I
Like,
don't.
do you
Yeah,
have a
he's
cutoff
the worst
time?
at drawing
I
boundaries.
I am pretty bad at it. I mean, I've gotten to the point where if you text me at 8 p.m., I'm not going to answer.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just
Yep.
can't. Like
I
have
think
a
8 p.m. is
family.
reasonable.
Mine is 6.
Really?
I tell my agents, and that's the thing too, is like, and you guys,
Yeah, but
you
with
guys don't get the
you-
benefit, right?
yeah, we don't get that
because you
benefit.
you're showing in the afternoons,
Yeah.
you're showing in the weekends.
Mhm.
But for me, there's nothing like I can do nothing. If you are calling me or texting me after 5 o'clock, realistically, lenders should be closed.
Sure.
Unless it's Allie, she works 24/7.
Mhm.
No, she doesn't work. We're talking about boundaries. She
Yeah,
doesn't work
she
24/7.
doesn't work 24/7.
Me too.
But attorneys are closed.
Mhm.
Everybody's
Yep.
closed. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I will say I did do that from the beginning of my business,
Yeah.
boundary wise, was like, I'm not working. I'm done working at 5. I will monitor my email
Mhm.
from 5 to 6 in case something crazy comes through. That's it.
Well,
I
and
don't
you know
work
what
on
to
weekends.
prioritize for the next day. Like
And-
if there's something.
Mhm.
I think
pressing.
it's less. I think it is about boundaries, but I think when you, and not everybody's, a brand new agent they don't get the luxury
No,
of
they
choosing
don't.
who their client is, right?
No, you just
But
take what you can
in
get.
year one, last year, I didn't get the luxury of choosing which agent works with me, right? But this year, I made it a priority to say, no, when I sit down at a consultation with somebody and I can already see they're going to need me 24/7, I'm not the right fit for you. And I'll
Yeah.
tell them that. Like,
Yeah.
because there is 100 people waiting over here who maybe don't do 80 to 100 units, but guess what? They do 20 to 30. They're going to respect my boundaries and we're going to get along great.
Yeah.
Like
think-
that's
It's easy to get like offended in the business too, and it's the same way with photography, right? Where like someone wants more than just a photographer; they want someone who's like going to go help with the listing,
Yes.
and do all this stuff, and as you grow, you just cannot do that.
Mm-mm.
Like I cannot clean your listing.
Oh,
and
I
good
can't do
and
it.
good
Nor should that
agents
be your
and
job.
a good
Crazy.
agent will know that. Like a good agent will know. I
Yeah.
have plenty of agents. I mean, Joey was one of the first that signed on with me. Jess was one of the first that signed on with me, and I have a ton of others that were one of the first. And some of the first really loved the fact that I did way more than I should have done. And they stopped working with me after I stopped doing that. But others were like, you should have never been doing that to begin with. So I just cherish the fact that you did it when you did do it.
And I think there's a place for everyone, right? Like it's easy to get offended again by that, where it's like, why would you even ask? You know, like why would you ask me to do something like that? But then again, there's a photographer out there who's just starting
Yeah.
who would love
Who will move
Who
the
would love
who'll move
that?
the toilet bowl brush out of the picture?
Yeah.
But see, to me, and I get it. I mean, yeah, there are some that will, but to me, I get that you don't, because then the listing agent should have told, you know, look, if you don't do it, it's a real picture.
Yes.
If you don't, he's gonna take what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've taken pictures for me where there's buckets of chicken grease in the kitchen, and you just shoot around it.
And we'll do a certain amount of stuff, you know, like adjusting stuff and stuff. But sometimes you walk in and you're just like, I'm not touching any of this.
Yeah.
No.
Or if you're
Yeah.
the agent and you know that the house is going to be like that, then you should probably be there during pictures so you can hold the toilet bowl brush behind
Yes.
the camera.
I have said this from
you know,
the
and
beginning
it's like
of my
that is
career.
part of your job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hide in
I've-
the closet with all the stuff.
Exactly.
I've
I've
said
held a
this.
toaster tight to my bosom.
See? And here's the thing. I've said this since the beginning of my career as a TC, and I'm sure everybody in this room has thought it or said it at some point. There is nothing that irks me and gets under my skin more than an agent on the other side of the deal who cannot control their client.
Yeah.
That is because then you're pressing my agent, and my agent is pressing me to do something that was none of our job to begin with. You should have sat down and had a conversation with your seller and said, no, this is what needs to happen. Or you should have educated your buyer so that they know, no, this is not like,
Unless,
Do you find-
unless you give, you know, the buyer your seller's number, and then you know,
oh
screw it all
yeah,
around.
and you're screwed all the way. Yeah.
Do you
So,
find it's more new agents that do that because they're scared to lose the business?
Honestly, I think
it
it's the one that's
I
been in
think
it for
it's-
the longest.
Well, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. I think it is an agent who is overwhelmed, who works way too much. They don't know when to say no.
they don't have
They
leverage.
they don't have leverage because they don't want to pay for it. They want to make, you know, they want to close 100 units, but they don't want any help. Or they want to close 100 units, but they don't know when to say no. If you can't, like, here's
or they
a
want
big
help,
thing.
don't want to pay for
A
it.
big thing. If you can't speak the language of your client, you should not be representing them.
I-
If you are paying for leads to come in and they come into you and they do not speak your language, you are doing them a disservice by working with them. So when you put them under contract and you send them to me and they can't speak to me, that what good is that doing anybody? But you are so focused on the fact that you want to close that unit that you didn't even see that this client is not getting the what they should get. And we're all suffering because of it.
And I think that I run into that a lot too. And it's easy to get offended. Like running in, you go to a listing and maybe the agent has tried to prep the client, right? But they're so busy, they gave them all the information and didn't come in and double check behind the client. Well, the clients, you know, they're busy too,
Yep.
right? They're trying to sell their home. They're trying
Yep.
to move. They're trying to do all this stuff. So again, it's easy to walk in and just be like, what the like, how could you let your house look like this? That's where I have to curb my thinking. Of
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone's busy.
Yep.
Like, I
It's
get
so
it.
hard.
We'll
Mhm.
do what we can,
Yeah.
and we'll just ask you not to be offended.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you know, because again,
and you're not going to go back out there and reshoot.
For free.
for free.
No,
We just
yeah, for
can't.
free.
Right.
No,
I
you
mean, we
can't.
can't
do
That's
it.
not
We wouldn't
respecting
make
your
any
time.
money.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
wouldn't make any money.
And I
Yeah.
think to your point too, I mean, after selling 2 places now, Joey knows, unfortunately, that you as like a realtor, as a TC, as somebody in this business, we have this idea of the perfect client. We have this idea of what they should be or what they should do. But when I listed my house and when I listed my condo, I was unrealistic on both of those prices. And I knew that I was. And Joey told me, this is not this, you're 5,000 off. That's what she said. She was like, you need to be here. And I was like, oh, let's just see. Right. Because I was a seller at that moment in time. I was a seller who had made memories in my house. I love this house. I knew that it treated me well. I knew it was going to treat somebody else really well, but it didn't sell for that price, or it didn't sell for whatever. And when we dropped it $5,000, we got showings and we got offers. And I called her and I was like, you were right.
You were right, girl.
And that's the thing is like,
She's like, I know.
and that's the thing is like, we have this idea of like, we know, because we do know, but we forget so quickly, because you're not buying and selling a house every day. We forget so hard how hard it is on a person.
Yeah.
They're uprooting
It's
their
a
entire
very-
life.
yeah, no, it's,
Yeah.
It's a
it's
very.
an emotional.
I think that's one thing you cannot prepare people for.
Yep.
Is how emotional
It's emotional.
you're dealing with this. You're dealing with 5 people's emotions all
Yep.
at once, and then like for me, I'm dealing with the listing agent's emotions, and like again, it's easy for me to judge, right? But they're dealing with an entire family's
Yep.
emotions.
They've got the
Or
pressure.
even when the family's in denial.
Yeah, because I mean, like, selling the house I grew up in after my mom passed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was just so like out of body at that point that I was like, yeah, no, we just need to sell it and have it. And, you know, it was like different because there was a pool in the backyard, and like just getting into real estate, I kind of knew like there was that side of my brain that knew like, okay, well, that's not necessarily going to count for much because now you're pigeonholing your buyer. You know, it's got to be somebody who wants
Wants a
that.
pool.
But then on the other side of my brain, I was like, yeah, this is like where I grew up. Like, it's a great house. Like, my mom took care of it. She put a lot of work into it. So, but I'd like to think that I was pretty flexible on that.
Well, I mean, and
but
also,
only because, you know, I was in the thick of it and just.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you took guidance from the people that were helping you. I mean,
I
I know if
did.
I ever
I
were to ever
did.
list my house, I'm not pricing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I can't price it. I mean,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
my grandparents built it.
Yep.
I lived in it. You know, we've lived it. I would probably have an appraisal 1st
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I
Couldn't,
You know,
couldn't
You're
put a
couldn't
number
do
on
pricing
it.
it
Yeah.
based on sentimental.
right.
Oh.
value.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did. I think that was like the best thing that I did, though, was take guidance.
Yeah.
Because I did. I just was like, yep, whatever you think. And I felt like it went at a fair price. Same thing for when I sold my other house. I mean, like I did. I took the guidance and it was fine. You just have to be willing to listen. But sometimes it is hard.
And
That's
that's
seller
the other
feedback, though.
that's the other advice
That's
though for
seller
new
feedback,
agents.
though. I'll fucking kill a bitch.
Oh, that's what we were talking about before with feedback.
Feedback.
That's what it was.
So
That's
the other advice you give new agents is just remember you can be new, but you learn every day,
Yeah.
every transaction.
Every
I'm
day.
17 years in and I still learn. And I also know when something is outside of what I can do. So like
Yeah.
I know that if we're in Winston-Salem or we're anywhere in 2-hour range and it is 5 acres or less, I can comp it like a pro. But if we get over 10 acres, I know that's outside of my comfort zone. So I, call somebody else I know that is
Yep.
all about the land. And I have. I've done that recently.
Yep.
I've had to call another agent twice who sells land. I'm like, I need you to help me with this because I have no clue. And then, and then people are like, well, why are you selling it? Well, it's always if I wasn't comfortable and it was somebody I didn't know, I would refer it.
Yeah.
But these are people like it's family or
Somebody you know.
your business partner or something like that,
Right.
where you have to be in the deal, so you got to do what you got to do. So
Yeah.
you have to rely on other people. So
But
again,
you're
Well,
still,
you have to rely on other people.
asking for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an agent, you're kind of like a manager of.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like you're a manager of. Think of how many vendors you work with,
Oh, yeah.
and how many
Oh,
people
yeah.
you go to for advice. So if you can't do that, and you can't work well with others, and you can't manage others,
right.
then I don't
A
think it'll
lonely
work out.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lonely
I mean, it's
world.
not going to
Yeah.
work out. You got to be able to develop those relationships and be able to kind of control them a little bit. You know.
And you have to be able to give advice too. I mean, I still have agents that text me that I haven't worked with in years, and they're like, "Hey, can you give me an opinion?" Well, that's because they want to know. And if you're not willing to give that either, then don't ever ask anybody else.
Yeah.
for help.
Oh yeah, that would be a big point too. Is like it is always a lot better when you work with an agent that understands that like we're all in this together. Like yes, we are representing certain folks, but like there is no sense in being nasty.
Ugly.
Or
There's enough business for everybody.
Oh,
there's enough
absolutely.
business for everybody, but also just like like if I'm calling you for advice, give me advice. same thing. Like it's reciprocal.
Or during the transaction when like the buyer's agent and seller's agent get like nasty with each other.
yeah.
That drives me crazy because I'm like, y'all are in this for the same goal.
Also,
Different people. Like,
also, you guys are the professionals.
right.
And that's the hardest. That is hard.
The
It is hard.
snarky emails and
you
the
wanna
like condescending shit.
Yes.
I'm like, why?
Yes. Your
Why?
seller and your buyer are allowed to be as emotional as they want to be.
But you're not.
But when
know,
you
but we
get off
gotta
that
act
phone
right.
call, when
You
you get
gotta
off
act
that
right,
phone
girl.
call with your buyer who
We gotta act right.
wants to say everything they can to the seller just to piss them off, you know you have to call that other agent and say, listen. And that's where it is important for you to
Yeah.
have a co-broker that
Mhm.
that understands that, because I mean, one of the first agents I worked for, she taught me like just take a beat.
Mhm.
That was when I like, because I'm one of those people that like I want to get it all done right now. Like I want to get an answer. I want to send out 17 emails. I want to get it all done. I want this off my plate. If somebody emails me and asks me a question, I want to respond right away and give them what they want.
Yeah.
Wait, like just give it a second. Nothing needs to be. You're doing more damage sometimes by just immediately responding
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah.
Well, that's just my personality. Like I
Mhm.
need, if something, especially something like pisses me off or rubs me the wrong way, like I need to take a minute
I need,
Mhm.
yeah.
because what I say an hour from now is a lot different than my knee jerk
Right.
Yes.
reaction.
Same.
Right.
Very
Right.
much same.
Like your mom,
Unless
Not
it's mad.
you.
like
Unless
your
it's
mom's
mad.
a hoe. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because that's what I immediately want to say.
Yeah. The question is any tools, strategies, or habits that are game changers for you? So,
Transaction coordinator.
Mhm.
Holla.
Make sure you do me time. Make a habit of that.
Mhm.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, your appointment can be your hair appointment,
Nails,
nails,
massage.
Botox,
That's what I was going to say. Botox,
lips.
eyelashes,
Yeah, pull out the
Eyelashes.
scroll for Jess of her. Yeah.
Yeah.
boobs. No, I'm
Boobs.
kidding.
The boob appointment.
So, anywho, what was the question?
Habits, or
Habits.
strategies.
Yeah,
that-
taking
like,
me time. Taking.
how do you win an offer? How do you stay recharged? Like
Oh,
anything.
no.
Or
God, I
tools
don't
that
know
you
anything
use, like
anymore.
organization tools.
I think we covered
How
that.
do you
She
start
is
your
so
day?
organized. I
Y'all
like
should just go look at our desks. Our desks
our
are
desks would
butt to
tell you
butt.
everything about our personalities, but
Uh-huh.
also like she would look at my Gmail and just be like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Nope, I'm on my fingers
I
on the
got
pulse
this.
of everything going on."
Okay, I do have
But then
one
I look at
question.
hers and I'm like, "Ooh, this would be nice to be able to just see it."
But it's fine because I ain't like that. So how do you frame your day? Like, do you let your day run you, or do you have like a map, like a set schedule, or
Oh,
like
God.
how do you do this?
Let's
You
just
would
show
like
you
Pull it
the.
up.
Let's just show you the colorful that is.
You would like to think like I always think I'm gonna
You want
have.
to zoom in on that? That is my schedule.
Yeah.
I schedule every minute of every day.
Yes,
Yeah.
My children are aware. My mama will say, "Do you have time for me for lunch this week?" And I'll say, "Yeah, I have this day, and this day." She's like, "Put it on your calendar right now
Right.
because I know if you don't, I'm
Yeah.
not getting in."
But I feel
Now, do
like-
you have like set things that you do every morning? Like, okay,
I go
let's
to the
just say
gym.
lead gen or showings or whatever. Like, is that
wish.
always in the afternoons or always
No,
whatever?
wish.
Okay.
No, I'm. I
That's not me
wish. I wish
either.
I was one of those people that could say, "Hey, I'm lead genning from 9 to 12. Screw you if you call me."
right.
And there are people out there like that, and I
Mhm.
just can't.
Yeah.
I can't
Because
do
then
it.
I
Everybody's
would
different.
never. I would never. Number one, the phone is evil.
Yeah. Well, but
But I can't because I do all my closings in the morning. So the one routine thing I do whether whatever day it is I close, I always close at 10:00. Our closings are
Okay.
at 10:00 because we do our walkthrough at 9:00.
Yeah.
Always. That way, whatever craziness comes out, hopefully it's done by 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great point.
And it doesn't matter Monday through Friday, whatever day. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't change that unless I have 2 back-to-back closings and then I push it a couple
Yeah.
hours. But we always do that. I mean, you have to because we've been we're still waiting some days at 4:30. Like, are we recorded? I mean, we closed
Yeah.
at 9:00 this morning.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's big. I wish I could lead gen. I wish I could do all the things. My biggest thing is just it's calendar. I
Mhm.
mean, just so everybody knows where I am. Everybody has access to my calendar. My husband has it on his
Not
phone.
me.
Really?
Well, you do. It's
I
there.
don't.
You just don't
She
have it turned
says,
on. She just
just
doesn't
I
know
am
how to
not-
turn it on.
I am not technologically.
She doesn't want to
advanced.
see this on her phone. Is the problem?
Yeah,
Now,
I'm
do
not.
you have a calendar?
I do have a calendar, but it's like at the same time, like if someone calls me at 11:00 at night, I'll be on it.
Oh,
Like, and I'll just be like, yeah,
sure.
sure, yeah, we'll meet you. Like when are you available? I'm bad about that, but at the same time, it's whatever. If I'm available, then I'll answer it. Now, if I was like doing, I'm never doing anything at 11 o'clock. Just to be clear.
Not even sleeping.
No.
No, I'm just sitting there with my glasses on, looking over
At Matt.
at Matt.
Snoring. What's
Matt?
beeping? What's dying? No.
Oh,
No, okay.
Slowly,
Um,
cameras are just starting to die.
Yeah, so no, I'm never, but like if I'm doing something, then I don't answer the phone. But if I'm not, then it's not just for principle, you know?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I don't know. That was a weird answer to your question, but like she's really regimented. I'm not. But then obviously, you know, in this business, you could think
Hard.
that your day is going to look a certain
Oh,
way and then
absolutely.
it could change
oh, absolutely.
in a 2nd.
Mhm.
So
I feel like I'm learning that you have to have that like structured. The busier you get, you have to
Mhm.
have
You
that
do.
structured time,
Mhm.
especially for yourself.
Mhm.
Whether it's like working out in the morning or whatever, because if you don't, your whole day just feels like chaos.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Somebody that's really organized told me recently to have like an hour at the end of every day that you block off, that you don't do anything during
Yep.
that time to prep for the next day.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
so
I
I
never
haven't
stop.
done that yet.
But I would
Yeah.
never stop. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like I'm prepping for the next day
All
during
the
the
time.
day.
I'm always
Right.
thinking about
Honestly,
it.
do you know what I do with that? I do the same thing. I do block off an hour, sometimes even 2 hours of
Mhm.
nothing,
Mm-hmm.
but it always gets filled because that is my fire time. So
Mm.
I block off literally, I wake up at 6 a.m. most days. Get all of my work knocked out by 9 a.m. Like all of the tasks, like just like the mundane, just
Yeah.
has to go out. All of that's out by 9 a.m. And
Yeah.
then
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 7 p.m.
Oh my God.
No,
that
you
little
do
baby.
not.
Let me tell you something. If there's one thing that's not going to get messed up, it is my sleep schedule. I will be in the bed at 7 p.m. I will be
Ooh,
asleep
I
by 8
cannot
p.m.
Unless
wait.
he's taking shots with us.
Ooh.
Unless I'm
What?
unless I'm
Wait.
filming a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was about to say.
gosh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how do you start work at 6? Because like I would love to do that, but I'm tired.
Dude, I get up at 5:30. I take a shower. I go downstairs. I knock out all of my work at so 6 a.m. I go through my emails and like the things from the day before, and I
Yeah.
respond to things that need to be answered, and I work on those things from like 6 to 8. Okay, and I schedule those responses to go out at 8 a.m. because I may be working at 6 a.m. But none of my agents are going to get a response at 6 a.m. You will get a response at 8 a.m. Whether I typed it at 6 or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So then 8 a.m., I'm firing off all of those like rapid fire emails that are just like regular
Checking
blah, blah,
in,
blah.
whatevers, yeah.
Exactly. You've gotten them. They all look the same.
Lots.
So I do that. And then that way the rest of my day is like I blocked off time for lead gen. I blocked off time for lunch with an agent. I blocked off time for this, for that. But then there's always 2 hours where there's nothing. It's blocked off, but there's nothing there. And that's because an agent's going to call me. And unless I'm doing like an MLS input or I'm doing something that takes my time, I will answer the phone for the agent and say, hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. Most times I don't answer on the first ring. I text them and say, hey guys, I'm in an appointment or I'm doing whatever, what's up. If they can text it to me, great. If they can't, I'll call them back. But that's for those closings where you have like a fire that we need to get something immediately signed. If I didn't block off that time, I would get to 5 p.m. every day and be like, I still have a whole list of things to do. Because none of those things were tasks that needed to get done.
Mm-hmm.
No, see, I
So.
go ahead and I apologize to my clients when we have that consultation. I'm like, look, I get up at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
That's when my brain starts working. So please turn your phone on mute because if I text you at 5 o'clock, that's when it's coming
Mm-hmm.
because I got to answer it then. And sometimes I will schedule, like if I have one of those clients where I know if I text them at 5 o'clock, they're going to text me back. That's not how it works. This is one-sided.
Yeah.
I will
I just need
schedule
to get
it
my stuff
for
done.
8:30.
You can schedule a text.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Are you an iPhone
girl, I
user?
don't know how to do it.
Oh,
I'm
you can't on an
Android.
All you do
iPhone.
is just
I don't know.
when you type the text, you hit the little plus,
Yeah.
No way.
and it'll say send later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Same thing
schedule
with
it.
emails.
Wow.
I do that, okay.
I saw that on emails,
Yeah.
but I never knew that about
Text the same thing. Yeah.
I did
So
that.
I
with-
send out 100 texts. They look like they all go out at 8 o'clock.
I literally okay.
Perfect.
It's so funny. So one of my other agents texted me at like 7:58 a.m. I'd been working since like 6 or whatever, but they texted me at 7:58. And if they watch this, they'll know who they are. But they texted me and they sent me a question, and then they texted me immediately after, and they were like, "I had this typed up at 6:30, but I didn't think that was an appropriate time to text you." And I already had my message back to them scheduled because I already knew that they were going to ask that. So I sent the message back at like 8 a.m. They sent 7:58. I sent at 8, and then I texted back and I was like, "I dead ass had my message scheduled to you because I didn't think that 6 a.m. was appropriate to text
For you
either."
either. That's funny. Wow.
Yeah, I
So,
got to start scheduling stuff.
celebrity home you'd love to sell.
That's you.
God.
Your reality TV, have at it.
Yeah. God, any of the housewives. Basically anybody on Bravo. Also in
Yeah.
house.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. You want me to do
I
the
don't
other
watch
one?
Yeah.
reality
Okay.
TV. I don't know.
Joey, dream home location.
Anything with water.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Lake, beach.
Blue,
Okay.
blue
There's
water,
water in
green
this-
water, muddy
Water.
water.
There's water in this
There's water
basement.
in this building. If
No, no,
want
no.
to
You like that
Not
water?
Not setting water with
Okay.
mosquitoes.
Natural water.
But yeah, natural flowing water.
Natural flowing water.
Okay.
That's not come from a mudslide or a hurricane or.
There you go. Cool.
So if you've watched this episode, you have seen.
If you've made it to the end.
if you've made it to the
Okay.
end, you have seen OnlyFans. You have seen what all have we seen?
Peach
God.
fuzz, lack of peach fuzz.
Peach
Lack of
Fuzz,
peach
OnlyFans,
fuzz.
OnlyFans, double wides.
You guys thought this was
Housewives.
gonna be
What is
about
it? SSRIs?
real estate?
SSRIs.
Yeah, SSRIs.
Everything unfiltered.
Yeah, and then real estate.
And,
then
hostage
yeah, we
rooms,
sell
too.
some houses
Yeah,
and do
hostage
some.
rooms.
Yes, everybody can make their dreams come true.
Yes,
Yeah.
Everybody has a dream.
That's the takeaway
Yes,
from this
Yeah.
episode.
We're making dreams come true.
You've
every
also-
every dream is different, but everybody has a dream.
That's right.
There you
That's
go,
right.
Joey.
I like
That's
that.
the title.
I like the transition. It just cuts off.
So
You got
thank
it.
you guys for joining us at this 2-hour-long episode. Next week's episode, we don't even know what it's going to be, or not next week. Next month's episode, we don't even know what it's going to be about. So you know what? Just come hang out. And we also don't even know where it is.
something real. Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
Where is it even?
Where
gonna
it
be?
is, where
Where
it
with
is.
Parking lot.
someone about something.
Yeah.
It'll just be fun.
Yeah.
That's all we really know.
And
well,
some real
that's
estate.
the point, right? It's like
Unfiltered real estate.
unfiltered, just to sit down and
Shoot the
probably
shit.
drink a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a Thursday.
Yeah.
Like we don't have
Thursday.
lives
Sorry
tomorrow.
for the 6 appointments I have tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's it, right?
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Thanks. For
We hope
coming.
that you guys. We hope that you guys have us on again. And for anybody listening, just know that we're your girls, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And how can
Right?
they find you? What's the best contact?
OnlyFans is.
Best contact would be my cell phone number. God, do I just give it? I guess I do. It's everywhere anyway.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Why don't you just say how they can contact you, and you could put
I
it in the
could
video,
put- I
right
could
at the
put,
bottom.
like, or your Instagram.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm on Instagram, Jess Heineck. I am on Facebook, Jessica Heineck.
Yeah.
And my email is jessica.heineck@gmail.com. I like to keep it consistent because I'll forget.
I think I'd be a little concerned if you had different names
Yeah.
for each one of them.
Also, Jess, real
I'll
quick,
forget.
what's your license number?
Shit. 338321.
Oh, her real estate license.
My
number.
NC license number for
Mhm.
real estate. Yes. Joey, where can they find you?
Find a home with Joey everywhere.
Find a ham with Joey.
Find a
A
ham.
ham. Not a turkey, but a ham.
Because everybody's dreams are different.
some people like ham.
Thanks, guys.
Ah.
Yay.
Yay.